You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 186.2. Mike Rich reacts to the Pacers' 125-116 loss to the Denver Nuggets on Monday evening.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
I have Mike Rich with me here to talk about the Pacers' 125-116 loss to the Denver Nuggets. Before we get to him, let me do my 15-second recap, which is to say that the Denver Nuggets were just a little bit better than the Indiana Pacers. They looked like a championship team that was determined to win a big road game, and that's exactly what they did behind um, every one of their starters scoring at least 16 points, led by Aaron Gordon with 25. The Pacers played pretty well most of the game, just not quite on Denver's level. Miles Turner led the team with 23 points. Mike Rich, your thoughts on the Pacers 125-116 loss to the Denver Nuggets?
I think you recapped it really well. I think just watching Denver play tonight, they look like a championship caliber team. They were hitting on all cylinders. They came off that loss against the Lakers, and I think they really wanted to come and make a statement. So they came in ready to play. I think the Pacers were up for the challenge at the beginning of the game. They struggled a little bit that first quarter, got behind about 15, but really came back and just was really resilient. Played really, I thought they played a pretty good game overall. Coming off a back to back, and they just got wore out, and they got wore out physically and mentally in that fourth quarter, and just couldn't push closer to getting over that hump and taking a lead, or even getting within 5 points in that fourth quarter. So, but overall, just really happy with where this team is at and where they're going. They've had a good start to the new year. 2-1 in the last three. They beat two really good teams coming into this game. So just
And handle
really
it.
excited. Yeah, yeah. And they continue to show that resilience. I hate seeing it. I mean, I hate seeing them getting behind in the first quarter, and you're like, they're going to make a run, but it's like, I just, the
Mike,
Clippers, once they took the lead against the Clippers, they played really well and held the lead the whole game. But,
there is
you
a
know,
whole different level between the Clippers and the Nuggets, even if the records don't say it. And the
oh,
records do kind of say it, but this is. You said that the Pacers wore out. I think they got worn out, is what happened. I think Denver exerted their will on the Pacers. The Pacers had no idea where the ball was going to be any moment at any time. The ball was whipping around so fast. Um, Denver gets to the loose balls. They do things that championship teams do. Shot 57%. I thought the Pacers defense was pretty good a lot of the game.
I did too. I thought their defense was good, and I think they missed one key spark plug, and that was McConnell on the bench. I think that shows how important he is as well. I think he could have potentially been, uh, something that could have helped even a little more, and maybe kept us a little closer in this game. Um, but both teams, you know, I think overall played well, but they both also had a lot of turnovers. I mean, I think the Pacers had over 22, 23 turnovers in the game, and which led
17.
to 17 turnovers.
17 total, yeah.
Okay.
Four by
Okay.
Nimhard. By the way, that's the other thing is Nimhard really seemed out of sync. He was asked to play more with the second team because
Yeah.
McConnell was out, and he just never looked quite right.
Yeah.
He was
And
minus 21, by the way.
yeah, that's a big key, a big difference too. So it again, if you're looking at the last couple games, I think Nemhard really played well the last couple games. Um,
Yes,
you know,
very
I
well.
I really thought it was impressive that he held Morant to 2 points in the first half of the Memphis game the other night, and held him to 12. Him and Shepard played outstanding defense in that game. Um, but when you play like that and to that intensity, and and then you play somebody with the caliber of Denver. It's it's tough to keep that intensity and to have that energy, both mentally and physically. And you're absolutely right. Denver wore the Pacers out tonight, because they weren't the same running team that they normally are.
And let's mention that they did play on back to back nights and then have
Yes.
to play a championship team that not just are they a championship level team, but tonight you could see from the, I mean, very tip, this team was not, they were not going to give up an easy loss against a
No.
good team on the road. They had won what 9 games in a row before the Lakers lost,
Hmm.
and
Right.
they really wanted this game, and you could tell Jamal Murray if he plays like that, they're just not gonna get beat. You
Yeah.
know, last year he got hurt and a little out of shape, and that was probably the reason they weren't repeat champions. But man, when he is this good, and then Porter and Gordon and Brown, they just are really nice
Uh,
complementary pieces.
Oh,
You know, and a decent bench, not good, but decent, good enough for them to be a championship team. To me, it looks like they are 1C with Boston and Cleveland, and Oklahoma City just a little bit on the outside. And I thought the story of this game was not the Pacers; it was the Denver Nuggets.
oh yeah, I agree 100%. That Denver came in and did exactly what they should have done, and and what was expected from them. And their starters, like you said, Murray and Jokic. I mean, they just outstanding.
Yeah,
And just you know, Murray just wasn't missing.
and
And Jokic wasn't missing with his passes. I mean,
never does.
unbelievable passes.
19 assists tonight for Jokic. I said to you, we were texting back and forth, Mike. Second greatest passer in the history of the NBA. Magic Johnson being number one.
I,
Um,
I, I
and I
mean, the
said,
half
yeah,
court dime. I'm like, gee, man, that's just from your center, run, coming up and down. Yeah, playing point.
yeah.
It's, I mean,
It's
that,
there's
that,
nothing we've never seen anything like it.
no,
He's very similar to Larry Bird in a lot of ways,
yeah,
a little bigger and not so similar in other ways. And he's that's who he moved into second place in my mind, past
yeah,
Larry Bird as the second greatest passer of all time. And it's extraordinary watching him, his shot making ability, his passing
yeah.
ability. If he lasts 10 more years, we're gonna have to be talking about some all-time accolades for this guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he creates, and it just looks so effortless. I mean,
So
he does
effortless.
not look fast until he needs to be fast. And that spin move he put on Turner, and I mean, I was just like, oh, there's the
Oof.
movement.
Ugh.
And it's just but his vision, his shot creation, his own shot. I mean, he had his team. I mean, he had everybody involved. Everyone.
Special, Mike.
Yeah, yeah,
Special. This guy is
yeah,
special. He elevates
yeah,
everyone around him. Michael Porter's career was nowhere until Jokic started becoming a star. It looked like Aaron Gordon was going to be an average player until he got around Jokic. But let's talk a little bit about the Pacers now. Um, I thought really nice night again, becoming more and more consistent for Aaron Neesmith.
yeah. I thought he had a good game, both offensively and defensively.
Needed just
I
10
think,
field goal attempts for 17 points.
yeah. Did he lead the team in scoring?
I know that was Miles Turner with 23.
That was Miles Turner with 23. Yeah, and I think he's still recovering from the ankle injury, but I think
Just
he's
looking better and better.
looking better and better every game. Um, I think Toppins played pretty well the last couple of games.
Looked really good.
Yeah, he had a good half. I think he had 11 points in the first half, and he does what he needs to do off the bench. He's really good on that second team. But yeah, I think Neesmith is coming around. It'll be nice to have McConnell back in the rotation here in a couple days, and hoping he's not out too long. And I think when we have Miami and
They made it
who's the
seem
next?
like it was just a back-to-back night thing that he
Yeah,
tweaked it, and if they had another night between, he probably would have played. So,
yeah, he wanted to come back last night, but it was probably good they sat him out. So, but
all right, let's look
yeah,
at the standings real fast, Mike. The Pacers are now fifth. Actually, dead heat with Milwaukee for fourth. Um, and Detroit right behind, a game and a half. Plenty of space between them, although if Orlando gets healthy, who knows what they're going to do. Seems like the Pacers are pretty safe in the top six.
I think they are. I think with the schedule, I think they have an advantage there, and
Absolutely.
the rest of the season with the home court advantage. Um, Watching New York the last couple of games, they've really struggled, and when getting blown out by Boston, and I don't think they've beaten anyone that's seated above them currently. Really struggling against those top tier teams, and
Yeah, but they're still
um,
trying to figure out their formula, Mike.
yeah,
They've got a lot of new pieces, and it's usually the second year where it really all comes together. But man, I like that team.
it's a good
I
team.
mean, I hate the
It's
Knicks, but I like the makeup of that team.
yeah, it's a good makeup of a team, but I agree. I hate the Knicks too. So
Ugh.
and
I wouldn't cheer for the Knicks if my son was on the team, Mike.
and I hope we play them in the playoffs. It's just
I do. It looks
it's
like a
a
crash course with Milwaukee and then Cleveland, but there's plenty of time left. Who knows? Maybe even Detroit gets up in there in the top five. That
yeah.
is quite a
Detroit's playing
story.
well.
That is
Yeah,
quite a
Detroit's
story.
playing well. Yeah, they probably one of the last over the last 10, 15 games. They probably are right there with the Pacers.
That's right.
So,
You hate to say it, but as soon as Jaden Ivey went down, which really goes to show you that sometimes it's not all about talent, it's about fit. And sometimes it gives somebody an opportunity, and that's exactly what's happened in Detroit. And it just really has opened up things for Cade Cunningham, who's a special player. But this is
yeah.
more about the Pacers, and we'll take a quick look ahead to the to what's coming up, and then I will let you go to bed because I need to go to bed.
Sounds good.
All right. They have a night off before hosting Toronto on Wednesday. Should win that one. Then they go to Miami on Friday. Uh, that's a game that you win if the Pacers are as good as we hope they are. And then they have Chicago at home on Sunday. That's a game they should win. Then they have Houston at home on Tuesday, and that should be a really good one. People, if I were you, if I were going to get tickets for a game coming up, man, the Houston Rockets are a good young team that are fun to watch.
It would be a good game to go to. And tickets aren't actually super expensive right now. I think tonight's game you could have got a ticket for I saw $11.
And then Ticketmaster will charge you 134.
Oh,
And
it,
anyway, I have a beef with Ticketmaster, as you know. Um, the problem with that game on March 4th is that it's the opening night of basketball sectionals, and I think everyone should
mm,
be at those instead. But I understand if you want to go to a Pacers game, they're an awful lot of fun too. So, but I recommend high school basketball on that night.
yeah, I think the next 4 or 5 games they have another good opportunity and to win most of those games and uh, you know just keep this momentum going. It's been they've played pretty well all in all, and over since January and since the All Star break. I mean, to again 2-1, and each team that they've played are playoff teams. So you know it's I think we're in a great position, and um, as long as we're healthy and I think we got a lot of opportunity to, I think I still think three or four is still uh, a reachable goal for them to be a 3 or 4 seed in the East.
Mike, I got my eyes on Tuesday, March 11th, the Milwaukee Bucks at home on TNT. And then that Saturday at Milwaukee, I'm gonna make. I think the Pacers need to make a statement in those games, but there are still about 7 games between now and then, so we will focus
Yeah.
on the Toronto Raptors, and you and I will talk some Pacers very, very soon. Thanks once again to my main man Mike Rich for coming on and talking some Pacers, and thank you for listening. We'll be here as often as possible after every Pacers game, immediately following the game. We got some big plans coming up. Jimmy James has got fancy plans and pants to match. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.